Hello y'all, this is the Road to 56 mod for Hardspine 4. It is a mod that focuses a lot on alternative history. It adds a new focus trees, new unit types, a new troop experience system, and more. First big thing we need to do before we start is change the Spain fragmentation status setting to El Andalus. Then we're going to select Spain. With that done, we'll be playing as the Caliphate of Córdoba, whose ruling ideology starts off as authoritarian. The Caliphate in our timeline controlled a large part of the Iberian Peninsula at its peak in its 100-year life, but in the 1000s it would disintegrate and fracture into smaller Muslim states. We're not the only country from the past. There is also the Kingdom of Castile, the Republic of Galicia above Portugal. After that is the Kingdom of Navarre, and the last one in the bunch is the Kingdom of Aragon. Aragon, who is our neighbor, isn't limited to just controlling a piece of Spain. They also have the islands of Sardinia and Sicily under their rule. Our starting army is just one division, but we do have 2 generals and 1 field marshal as commanders, so at least if we do get a larger army, we don't have to spend as much political power as we would getting a new commander right away. We do have a navy that consists of 2 light cruisers, and we do have an air force that has a grand amount of 7 planes, 2 of them being on the aforementioned cruisers. Starting the focus tree, we are assessing the future, then we'll go to the left and begin industrial buildup. After that, we'll expand military capacity. We really need military factories because you can't exactly make anything if you don't have any. Welp, if all else fails, the soldiers could just try using their fist. We're making an army on a budget and with a small amount of resources, so let's use a decision to formalize militia formation, so we'll have them as an option for our division templates. Once expand military capacity is done and out of the way, we'll do the focus, improve state infrastructure. To the north of the Iberian Peninsula is a right-wing victory in France. We'll keep a watch on that as it could develop into a more extreme situation, but at the same time, maybe not. The Kingdom of Castile is gone. It has fallen into a civil war between the Spanish Republic and nationalist Spain, so it's essentially a Spanish civil war like in the base game, but with less room to fight. Doing more political/foreign policy focuses, let's entrench the Islamic Party, and after that, listen to the Islamists. After listening to the Islamists, we'll reinforce Muslim Brotherhood and promote the Lesser Jihad. The latter unlocks a part of the tree with war goals and some focuses that will give us buffs. I didn't notice this at first, but the state of Granada and all of its provinces seem to have the modifier Traditionalist placated, which gives a local construction speed boost. The German Reich is getting involved in the nearby civil war by sending volunteers and Lend-Lease. With that said, let's start improving diplomatic relations with them. Nationalist Spain is not doing well at all, but they are clean onto Madrid barely. As for Republican Spain, they are gaining land very quickly. A new combatant appears in the form of the Regional Defense Council of Aragon. I imagine this happens much to the confusion of the Kingdom of Aragon and the former Castilians. We're going to flip our country to fascism for the conscription laws and war goal justification, so we got a fascist demagogue political advisor to help with that. In the Spanish Civil War, knife fight in a phone booth equivalent, not Aragon takes Madrid and fights both sides. Nationalist Spain is picking up speed, while the Republicans seem to be on the decline, almost as if the new enemy disrupted them entirely. When we can, we'll do a focus to invite some investors to get a civilian factory. First, we need high enough relations to even start to focus. The Castilian-Spanish Civil War gets even more chaotic and messy, with Carlos Castile emerging to throw their own hat into the ring. Using fascism on the rise decisions to open up political discourse, we'll get what we want in no time. To have something to do while we do that process, there is a battle just over the border we can spectate. The Spanish Republic was beaten by nationalist Spain, who annexed them, and over in South America, the Empire of Brazil declares war on the Socialist Republic of Uruguay. The other factions were defeated, resulting in a Castile completely unified by nationalist Spain, who will have to deal with the ramifications of the Civil War in their victory. Let's start researching transport ships because they will be very important for any long-term strategy that involves any kind of naval invasion. The national focus Reconquer our Darro Cafe is completed. It gives us war goals on all of the countries within the Iberian Peninsula. We won't be going to war right away, as I think we need to build up our military just a bit more before we take on another country. Let's invite American investors to get a civilian factory. After that, we'll do American air industry expansion expansion, which will provide us 2 more military factories. France goes the Empire route and attacks the Netherlands and Luxembourg. Meanwhile, this is going on, Germany Anschlusses Austria. Not satisfied with just the 2 wars, the French Empire goes after Belgium. This makes it so they are at war with all of the Low Countries. The Empire has also went about creating the Continental System faction. The air industry expansion is finished. Let's go ahead to the Decisions tab and hold a national referendum. This will change our country ideology to fascist once it's done. Hassan al-Banna is our new country leader, though I'm unsure if the portrait is him. Historically, he was the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. Moving on from that, in the focus tree, let's do 2 focuses. These are the well-guided and celebrate martyrdom. We're going to declare war on the Republic of Galicia, mainly because their army shouldn't be too big compared to everyone else in the region. Securing naval supremacy is going to be very crucial here, as our attack plan is very reliant on naval invasions because we have no land route. Looking up to the north, the Low Countries are all gone and the French Empire has absorbed all of them. Certainly it's a win for Napoleon. Galicia lost as we took a port and brought in more troops. Their land will be annexed. This will give us another place to get manpower from, as well as serve as a launch pad for future assaults into neighboring countries. We're going to prepare for one of those assaults by setting up on the new border to attack the Portuguese Republic, who will face the full might of our mostly militia army. The Continental System faction gets a new member with the Kingdom of Italy joining it. That makes it even more powerful, and the French Empire for some reason has become the Kingdom of France. The war with the Portuguese is going mostly well. We're struggling to keep some trap divisions in their place, but as long as they are there, that will give us more freedom to push into enemy territory. 1 cavalry division was sent forward to take Lisbon, which they managed to do, and now they are rushing to take Beja. Hopefully once that is done, it will capitulate Portugal. The Portuguese Republic has lost. We'll take everything, and that will greatly expand the amount of states we have, and especially enlarging the border with nationalist Spain in the western part of the peninsula. Czechoslovakia joins Poland's faction, so they'll both be fighting the German Reich. Scoping out the competition, the Spanish Empire, formerly known as Nationalist Spain, is recovering from the Civil War, and their army at most is 18 divisions, which is smaller than our 31 divisions. We're going to take down what was Castile with what I will refer to as Operation Boabdil. The plan is to attack hard from the west while defensively holding on to Granada, where our capital is. A mobile cavalry division took Madrid in a pretty fast manner. We will have to count on militias who have the objectives of taking Seville and holding on to Granada to do their part. The capital has moved to Burgos. We're facing some resistance in taking it, as we didn't really put much of a presence up there in the first place, and this division in particular is on its own. The Spanish Empire is close to losing to the Caliphate of Córdoba. Once they're through, we gotta handle the Kingdom of Navarre and the Kingdom of Aragon, who up to now have just sort of done their own thing. We won. This makes it so we'll have, I think, the majority of territory in Iberia after we annex all of the Spanish Empire, who just had the land of former Castile. The Kingdom of France declares war on the German Reich, who, with this done, gets to fight a 2-front war with the Continental System and the Polish Międzymorze faction. We're advancing soldiers into the Kingdom of Navarre. It shouldn't take too long to beat them, as we managed to open up a clear path to their capital of Pamplona. The Kingdom of Aragon is next on the list. They aren't exactly weak, as they've had time to build up their military and suffer no civil war, but we are slowly making our way toward Barcelona as we fight everywhere else on the front lines. Barcelona was captured. The next fun part is sending naval invasions to the islands of Sardinia and Sicily to take the new capital of Palermo. There seems to be no opposition in Sicily, with no enemy divisions there waiting for us. We'll take full advantage of that. We're at the peace conference. As done before, we will annex everything. This will achieve our goal of controlling all of Iberia, which includes Spain and Portugal. Goodness gracious, the German Reich is completely overwhelmed. The Allies aren't even needed, as France, Italy, Czechoslovakia, and Poland have just crushed the Germans. We get a visit from a man named Muhammad Asud, a Austro-Hungarian-born Muslim linguist, who in our timeline is perhaps most known for his English translation of the Quran. Anyway, he becomes an operative. In the focus tree, we're doing industrial boom, since we have so many factories thanks to all the wars we won. The Republic of Finland joins the Brazilian Rio Pact. This interesting team-up may be the result of Sweden fighting Finland. The Republic of Cuba joins the Allies, which is a faction that hasn't had much to do this playthrough. The Communal Union of Indonesia joins the Comintern, and they're fighting the Continental System, who since beating the Netherlands has controlled the French East Indies. Not wanting to fight the USSR with the power of politics and maybe some threats, Poland gives land to the massive country. The Comintern as a faction is at war with the Rio Pact, which has come to include, besides Finland and Brazil, also Japan, along with their puppets. With a humble beginning in Granada, the Muslim Moorish Caliphate of Córdoba has pushed outward and did its own version of a Reconquista, and also sort of made Muslim Sicily a thing again along the way. The video is going to stop here. If you enjoyed the mod, make sure to check it out in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment. Have an awesome day. I'll see you later. Bye.